Hey,
Hey, Pastor Melissa.
hey, what's going on, Pastor Chris?
Are you hungry?
Maybe a little bit.
You know, sometimes during church I get really hungry. And you know what? Well, maybe we shouldn't have children's lesson tonight. Maybe we should just have a snack instead.
What are you talking about?
Well, I brought my snack here. Let's see.
Wait a minute.
I think I got enough.
Wait. Eat food instead of have a lesson with the kids?
Yeah. Let's see. I got 5 crackers here. And 2 fish. That should be enough, no?
For all the kids?
Yeah, I mean, we got...
And
we got...
because you know you can't just eat in front of them.
Yeah.
That's such
I'll
a
just
random snack.
Okay, maybe not. Well, let me count. Let me see how many are here. We got Ashley, Caleb, Madison, Marcus,
Wait,
Grumpy.
why is Grumpy here?
I don't know.
Grumpy snuck in. Wait a minute, Grumpy's.
Okay, so maybe I won't have enough. I mean, Grumpy eats a lot.
Oh my goodness. You know what this reminds me of?
What?
This reminds me of a story in the Bible where Jesus had fed a lot of people, him and his disciples. A lot of people call it feeding the 5,000, but it was more than 5,000 because he fed 5,000 men plus women and children. So we don't really know exactly how many he fed, but he fed them with 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish.
Wow.
Yeah. So if we go to Matthew 14 and read 14 through 21. So what happened here is Jesus had just found out his cousin John the Baptist had been beheaded and killed. So he went off to be by himself. And if you read 14 for me.
Just 14?
Start at 14, sorry.
And when Jesus went out, he saw a great multitude. Isn't that a big crowd?
It's a big crowd.
And he was moved with compassion for them and healed their sick. When it was evening, his disciples came to him, saying, "This is a deserted place, and the hour is already late. Send the multitude away, that they may go into the villages and buy themselves food." But Jesus said to them, "They do not need to go away. You give them something to eat." And they said to him, "We have here only 5 loaves and 2 fish." And he said, "Bring them here to me." Then he commanded the multitude to sit down on the grass, and he took the 5 loaves and 2 fish, looking up to heaven, and he blessed and broke and gave the loaves to the disciples, and the disciples gave to the multitudes. So they all ate and were filled, and they took up 12 baskets full of fragments that remained. Wow. And now those who had eaten were about 5,000 men, besides women and children. So he had like 5 little loaves of bread and 2 fish, and he fed all these people?
Yep, it was his lunch for that day. So Jesus was a teacher, and he had crowds of people following him. And if we think of crowds today, you know, it's a very large gathering of people, but this was an extremely large crowd when you're talking about 5,000 men plus women and children. And I couldn't imagine as a teacher, like, that many people just following me around to just want to hear what I was teaching. I just think that's awesome. So, you know, it was late, they were getting hungry, and the disciples, you know, they just wanted to send the people away. But Jesus, like, absolutely not. Give them something to eat. But what we don't realize a lot of times is we actually have the solution to the problem, and they could feed them, and Jesus showed them how. So the only one that had food was that little boy. He brought it like for his lunch that day. So we don't know. You got like 5 crackers there and 2 fish. So that would be like us sitting here with all the kids, and we all eat from these 5 crackers and 2 little fish, and then there was leftovers. So they took the 12 baskets of leftovers. So that's an awesome thing. Like, he put the food in Jesus's hands. He broke it, he blessed it, and he multiplied it, and it was more than enough to feed everyone. So I couldn't imagine everyone feeding off of that, being full, and we'd have extra leftovers.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So, it was a miracle. So, and that's what Jesus did, was miracles. But out of these miracles, you know, we learn lessons.
So feeding the multitude was a big task, it seems like.
Mm-hmm.
If we were asked to do it, we'd often stand there with our 2 little fish and 5 crackers and wonder how could it be possible. The answer is that we simply need to give it to Jesus. After all, He is who blessed the offering and gave it back to us to distribute to the crowd. Then miraculously, everyone gets fed, and we are left with more than we started with. We ended up wondering why we ever doubted in the first place.
That's so true, and that's such an amazing story,
I know.
because it just shows us what will happen when we put our problems into God's hands and how He will take care of them. And there's been times maybe we don't have, you know, what we need, or enough of what we need, and God He's done it in my life. He just makes it last, or somehow multiplies it, and it's awesome. So we do have a Bible verse for the week. It's Matthew 14:16. And it says, "But Jesus said to them, they do not need to go away. You give them something to eat." So he was, you know, his disciples were his followers. He was teaching them, and he was trying to teach them, hey, you can handle this problem. You give them something to eat. And then he showed them how. So why don't we pray that, we think that, why don't we pray out and just thank God that we know that He can do anything, and that He can use whatever we offer to do great, big, and mighty things. And who knows what'll happen with your 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish.
Thank you, Lord, for another wonderful, beautiful day today. And we just ask that you just, Lord, help us remember that when we're in a situation where it doesn't look like we have enough, whether it's money, food, or energy, or anything that we need, that we can give it back to you, and that you'll multiply it and use it for your good. We just thank you for everything you've done, and we give you all the praise, the honor, and glory in your name. Amen.
Amen. See you guys next week.
Bye.